Welcome everybody to Mautic Meetup Lagos, and we are glad you are joining us. This is a monthly meetup we organize every month to talk about Mautic and everything relating to marketing automation. And please feel free to reach to use the raise hand button if you need to ask questions. You'll be allowed to the stage where you can be able to use us. And then please feel free to use the chat too if you like to send us a message to the chat so that you can be able to have your questions or any challenge you have resolved. Also, we make these recordings available at the end of each of our meetings. So please feel free to subscribe to the YouTube channel for Mautic, where you can be able to um, watch the recording of our past and also this one that will be uploaded to after this call. All right, so we have the lounge where you can be able to network. Please feel free to network on the lounge. Is available there, and we want you to interact with the speaker. We want you to interact with the organizer and host. I want you to also interact with everyone that is participating. And please feel free to also request if you like to speak in any of our next events. We like to have speakers come join, come share with us how you use Multi, come share with us about marketing automation. It doesn't have to really be Multi only. You can talk to us generally about marketing automation, email marketing, SMS marketing, what you think is going to be helpful for everybody to grow their business. So please feel free to volunteer to talk. We appreciate to have you come speak in our next event. All right, so you might be asking what Multic is all about. Is for those that are joining for the first time, is an open source, world first open source marketing automation platform which allows you to be able to handle so many tasks. I'll be sharing that with you shortly. And then you can host this yourself. So it means you can download the code, install it on your server, and then you have it running. But if you choose to use the hosted version, software as a service, SaaS version, you can do that via Appware, where you can be able to pay and then be able to charge on a monthly basis, depending on what plan you belongs to. All right. So it also helps you to digitalize experiences and also personalize them for your customers all through your marketing journey. So things you can be able to do with Mautic, you can track websites, you can build landing pages, you can do email and SMS marketing, you can do automated campaigns, you can do dynamic content. So you can send out one single email and everyone who will receive the email will receive something different based on what they request for. So it means the email is personalized to them. You can score your consumers. You can do A/B testing. You can do reporting and attribution. You can be able to also see dashboard where you can learn more about everything about what is happening. So one thing is Mautic is free, is open source, but it all depend on the community members to be able to work on it. And that is why we have um you likely to contribute to Mautic. Please feel free to contribute. Is we would like to have you join any of the team. We have the marketing team, we have the community team. So the marketing team, I'm the assistant lead. White Favor is the team lead for education. So please feel free to reach out to us if you'd like to join any of this team, including community team. I'm part of the community team. Both me and Favor, that is why we could be able to host this event. And we have the product team. So if you have something to contribute to the code base, please join the product team. Reach out to any of us to be able to have learn more about how you can join. So please subscribe to our YouTube channel, join us on Slack, and also be able to make sure that you are part of the community on Meetup. So if you need invitation to Slack, just go to multic.org/Slack. You will get an invitation where you can be able to join the Slack. But please, if you have any questions, support that you want to throw out to the community, please don't put it on Slack. Just use the forum. On the forum, you can be able to share and people will be able to ask. Why you even ask you to use the forum is because in case someone else have the same similar issue in the future, they can it's available for everybody. All right, so you join the knowledge base, kbid.multic.org, where you can learn more. Developers of Multic, the unofficial multicast, which is the bi-monthly podcast from Lichinfa. That is handled by AK, the community lead for Multic. So join the community on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. All right, good.
Hi.
Anita, hi. How are you doing, Anita? Good
Fine,
morning.
thank you. Good morning.
Great to have you here today.
Same here.
All right, good. So please feel free to continue. You can share your screen. Please introduce yourself.
Okay. My name is Anita. I am currently a content marketer for iSpace Technology. I've been a content marketer for about 4 to 5 years now, give or take. take, I think. And during one of my roles, I was able to use Mautic for email marketing, basically, and push notification. I think that was my favorite feature, using it for push notification. However, the only negative part at the time was, I think it was just for iOS users only, and it wasn't for Android users. And as you know, majority of Nigerians use Android. Some use iOS, or a lot of them have a mixture of both. So it was we're not able to reach the crowd, or the amount of people would likely reach out if if it was both iOS and Android devices. So yeah, I think that was the only setback with Mautic we had at the time. And yes, I am literally here to talk about my experience with marketing and how I was able to use it to generate and convert leads. So on today's agenda, I would be talking about um, typically how to more like carry out a marketing campaign from the beginning to the end, or would I say how I would carry out a marketing campaign from the beginning to the end. Okay, awesome stuff. You can see the screen. So I listed out landing pages, focus items, email templates, campaign stages, points, social listening. I think I meant social monitoring there, and integration. So let's get right into it. Uh, um, so yeah, for landing pages, I think everyone that is into marketing know that landing pages are perfect for lead generation. I think that that's literally how you capture leads, depending on what you want to do, depending on the aim or depending on the goal of the marketing plan, right? Let's say that you are an e-commerce site, for example, and you want you have sales, right? You have sales coming, but you want a particular product to have more sales than the other. Let's say you launched a new product and you want people to be aware of that product. You want people to literally come and buy that product. So you can maybe you've also been putting it out there, and people are not still buying it, but you want people to say, hey, this product is here. So definitely you employ different techniques like discounts, a free testing. You employ different strategies. And also, let's say you want to get closer to those set of people that want to buy those products, like you want to market to a particular set of people that would like that product that has been launched. A landing page is a good idea, especially for that kind of thing. So let's say you create a landing page for the product, yeah, and you put like an asset, because on Mautic it's literally called an asset. You put like an asset to generate leads. It's also called a lead magnet, because you're using it to collect them. And you can have different lead magnets like freebies, you can have PDFs, ebooks, and other digital lead magnets. And if they are interested in that lead magnet, they would give in their email address or something. Typically, the idea of the lead magnet or the asset is to collect something from them, either their email addresses or some sort of personal information, so that you can move forward with your campaign. So that's what landing pages are definitely there for, or typically there for. Now, over time, I found out, I think I'm a little bit rusty with Multi, because I used it, the last time I used it was like 2017, 2018. But I played around with it recently, and I found out that you could actually build custom designs using code mode. And I don't know if I can also share that, but yes, what I typically do is I go to a website called Really Good Emails, right? I use it to get inspiration for other people's landing pages that have converted. They also have email copies that you can get from there and infuse into your marketing campaign. You could see how well they converted, maybe with their templates or with the email copies. And the best part of that website is you could collect the code, the template code, and then you can go and infuse it in Mautic, or you can infuse it where Mautic says code mode. There on Mautic dashboard, there's something called, I think there's a place called code mode. So you can infuse it there, and then you edit maybe the logo to yours, or you play around with it so that you can use that one to recreate another landing page of your own. So with that one, you can be able to create a unique landing page if you do not want to use the other ones that are there that Mautic has provided. Okay. So yes, on Mautic, you could also A/B test landing pages. This was also one of my favorite features while using it there. The best part of A/B testing landing pages is you could actually use you could have the same goal, yeah, but using different landing pages or using different templates. Yeah, templates is the word. Using different templates on using different landing page variants. Yes, with the same goal, but to find out which one your customers or your audience or your users will react to more. Multi gives you that opportunity to tell which one your users dwell more. Yeah, they call it longest dwelling time, I think. Yes, longest dwelling time. You could see that, okay, the users appeal to this one more because they've been on this one more, or you're able to capture leads from this template more than the other one. So in that way, you'll be able to discard the other one that is not performing well and stick to the one that is performing well. So yes, I think that's what A/B testing landing pages are, and Mautic actually provides that for you. Okay. Here's a screenshot of one of the landing pages I saw that I liked. And yes, exactly. So it tells you, hey, this is the longest dwell time. Um, that's the one you should go for. How to create forms for landing pages. Okay. I don't know if I've been talking to myself because I feel like I have, but if you have any questions, I'll feel better if I'm not talking to myself, because I think I'll be talking to myself all through. Um, But yeah, any questions?
Hello, Anita.
Any?
Anita,
Oh,
not at all. You
hi.
are not talking to yourself. We can hear you. So questions
Okay.
can come up later.
Okay. Awesome. Okay. How to create forms for landing pages? So yeah, a landing page is created typically, like I said, to capture leads. And in order to capture a lead, you need lead magnets. And I said that before. I also said that the lead magnets are called assets on Mautic. So typically, when you want to create before you create your campaign, typically these are all the things you do. You set up your landing pages. You make sure that if you are using a lead magnet or an asset, you've uploaded it. And you also need the form is actually where you collect the email addresses. The form is actually where you collect any other information, maybe phone numbers, maybe names. Yes, you'd need a form. And in order to create a campaign form, you'd go to components part on the left panel of the Mautic dashboard, and you click a form and you select new campaign form. You fill in the specified fields, and you submit. So if you actually have an asset, you, instead of the action being to submit, or instead of you to go to the next field for successful submit action or anything, you have to redirect the URL. So there's a place where you can change it to redirect URL, sorry, or display message. So ideally, the display message is more like maybe if you want it to go to another page that says, thank you for filling in this form, we'll get back to you. That makes more sense. Or if you're redirecting them to where you've kept the assets or to where you have uploaded the link you've uploaded the assets, in case you're offering any freebies, then awesome, you click on redirect URL. Then you can add other fields, because it's always good to add, let's say you're collecting email addresses, for example, it's always good to add their first name at least. And then I also, when playing around with it, I also noticed that it's always best, you can actually leave the label tag in case you want them to know, hey, this is what this landing page is for. You can also leave the label tag on, but I prefer to remove the label tag. It was actually more neater when we're creating the landing page form. Okay. The next on the slide is focus items. I believe we also know what focus items are. Ideally, when you go to a page, and I think they are mostly on blogs, e-commerce sites, um, typically websites that are literally selling something to you or that want to sell something to you. When you're about maybe leaving that page, or maybe when you're leaving that section of the website, you see a pop-up or you see something on your screen that says, hey, don't leave yet, here's a 50% discount, stuff like that. Especially with e-commerce sites, right? If you've not completed an action, maybe the final action that says buy the product, you see something like get 50% off. So maybe it's another way of telling you, hey, we know you want to leave this product, so please buy. In case it's the price, we've given you a slash. So focus items are actually a feature, is actually a feature on Mautic that can do that for you. You can set reminders, you can set notifications, and then you can insert it on your landing page. So in case someone has not yet bought your product, or in case someone has not yet applied for something that you placed out there, or someone has not completed a given action that you want them to take, another thing you could do is insert a focus item. It can be literally about anything. Like maybe when you want, maybe your idea or the focus of your goal is just to catch email addresses. You can, drop something as their pop-up or their notification if they're about leaving the page, to bring them back to the page so that they can actually complete the action that you want them to. So yeah, that's what mostly focus items do on Mautic. Yeah. So before, in case you want that, which is a good idea, it's a good practice to do that. You can also set it up before setting up the campaign itself. Okay, so yeah, in case you want to create a focus item on the Mautic dashboard, you go to the left panel. You can check on channels. Then you click to bring out a drop down on channels. There's a drop down, I think. Yeah, there's a drop down. On the drop down, you click on the focus item, and then you click on create new, and then you launch builder. So Mautic is very, very easy to use. You can be able to follow through afterwards. Like, in case you do not know what it's all about, for the most part, there are some of them that have this question mark attached to it. So when you click or hover around it, you can be able to see, okay, this one does this purpose or serves this purpose or something like that. So I don't think you would lose your way, especially when trying to create a focus item. Okay, yeah. This is like what I was trying to say, that can pop up. Although it's terrible, it's very terrible. You could design it better than this. I was just, playing around. Email templates. So yes, this is actually the most important part to me in a campaign, depending on if you're using there's also SMS marketing, but I'm talking about email templates because I've mostly done email marketing than SMS marketing. So yeah, if your landing page is bringing in the desired leads, you have to send an email to the leads. Exactly. If you're capturing emails, ideally you would want to create email templates or email copies to send to those people that you've captured their leads, because it's not always good practice that when you're done capturing you wait for a while. That's why you can automate your marketing, and this process helps you because before you create the actual campaign, you've thought through like a funnel process what the next thing your customers or your potential customers users is definitely going to take. So ideally you're planning a road path that your users are going to take. So what we are doing currently is saying, okay, first of all, you create your landing page, you set the goal, what do you want to achieve with the landing page, and you put it out there. You make sure that they don't leave immediately they get to the landing page. You can do that with focus items, and you can do that with the assets. You also have to create your email templates too, so that when you send them the email messages, because that's where the most work is, that's where they get to convert if you want them to convert. If your goal was to collect email addresses in the first place, the next goal is to send them emails, right? Marketing whatever you had in mind, maybe the product or maybe the service, or maybe you had made like an educational thing. Now, Mautic allows you to set, I think I'm jumping the gun, but yes, Mautic allows you to set, will I call it roadmap? Yeah, roadmaps on the next thing to do. So it's more like an action decision type of thing, right? It allows you set roadmaps on how your ideal customer on what your ideal customer would take typically. So let's say they get to a website, it's going to tell you, you're going to set it in Mautic that say, okay, hey, when someone gets to my website, this is what I want them to do. This is the next process I want them to take. And if they click this call to action button, it should be a trigger to cause an action, and that action can be, if they click a call to action button that says subscribe, the immediate action should be send them a thank you for subscribing message or thank you for subscribing email. So yeah, Mautic does that. Mautic also help you, um how would I put it? Like, so Mautic also lets you know at what point your users are following in the customer journey that you created for them. So yes, the next thing was actually to create an email template, also create email copies too that are backing up the landing page, the goal of the landing page that you have created. Okay, I think that should be. So yes, I got this last ones. You can also find this on the documentation on Mautic. But yes, before creating campaigns, these are some things that you should look out for. Um, Create a contact segment or a form to initialize your campaign. And that's what we did. Yes, we created a form. Contact segments can be used in case you already have the contacts themselves. Let's say you are an already existing website, you already have contacts that you want to send to. For me, when I was able to create campaigns for an ebook publishing company that I worked for, we already had contacts, and we had two contacts that we were marketing to at the time. We had the authors, which obviously would be marketing our services to, and we had the people who would want to buy the books for the authors. So we had two audiences, we had two target audiences. We had the authors and we had the consumers of the work, the people who buy the books of the authors. So necessarily you won't send the same email campaign to, or you won't actually create a campaign for those two people. You won't send those two target those the same audiences the same message. It doesn't make any sense. So ideally we use Mautic to um create contact segments, right? We say, okay, hey, these authors, these are the messages or these are the parts we want them to follow in their customer journey, and for the consumers, these are the parts we want them to follow in their customer journey. So Mautic was able to do that perfectly for us at the time. um you can create any custom field that you need for your contact profile. So there are lots of custom fields that you could add on Mautic. You can set up and configure any integration that you need to use in your campaign. Like I said earlier, when I started this talk, or when I started the talk, I said something about my favorite feature in Mautic. And at the point, it was the integration with One Signal, where you could send push notifications. Now, like I said, they set back to that particular thing. And in my opinion, push notification was the most successful marketing technique that we had, because it landed straight to their phone screens, and as long as the copies was good or were good, we had conversions, lots of conversions. So yes, you can set up and configure that integration. Another setback was, I'm not a developer, so it took a developer to be able to set it up for me. But then I also went to the documentation, and it was a easy step-by-step process. So in case you want to configure anything like that, the documentation can also help you. At the time, I wasn't interested in setting it up, so the dev in the company did that. So yeah, but yes, one integration I liked so much for a Mautic was One Signal. Set up appropriate text channels such as text message, email, focus items to communicate with your contacts. Like I said, we need to set up our email, the landing pages, the focus items, everything we needed. I haven't worked with text messages, but apparently you can do that with Mautic. You have to create your assets, your landing pages, or other components that you want to use for your campaign. So yes, these are just typically things or prerequisites that we need to actually make sure that we have set in place before we start our campaign or create our campaign in general. So yeah, the campaigns itself. So yeah, creating a campaign was actually easy. Like I said, you by the time you get to the dashboard and you look around, it was actually quite easy to use. In case you're finding it difficult to do anything, another best thing that helped a lot at the time was the Mautic documentation. You could just go there and read about it, and it's like an easy step-to-step process. And I also said that there's this question mark thing that you could hover around, and it literally tell you that, hey, it give you like a hint that what this is for, so you can actually create the campaigns yourself. For the campaign builder, it's literally where you create the process of the campaign. It's like ideally the processes you want your customers or your leads or your potential customers to follow. So yes, that's where you set the trigger, that's where you set an action. You can also, when you set these things too, you'd also see like the roadmap along with it. How to create a new campaign. To create a new campaign on the landing page, you should be able to set campaign forms. Yes, same thing I said earlier on with the forms thing, so that you can be able to collect email addresses or sell anything you want to sell. So ideally, the forms actually just collect stuff. So you can collect phone numbers for the text messages. You can also collect email addresses. You can collect stuff literally. You can, depending on what you want to collect, uh, you can collect details. Maybe you want to check how people are reacting to your product or your service. You can add more details and collect whatever information you want to collect using the form. The document, okay, I actually put a link to a documentation for building a campaign. Like I said, the documentation will help to create actions, triggers, decisions for the email marketing journey. So just in case, depending on your goal, that's what your action would be. So typically, or ideally, you want to when you want to sell something to someone, but you don't want to sell to the person directly, you can go through a process of educating the person. So let's say you want to sell a car, for example. A car is a very big buy, so you don't expect someone to spontaneously make a conversion with selling a car. So you want to take them through a process, right? You want to get closer to them by collecting maybe an email address, and You want to make sure that after that email address, you keep in contact with them. So maybe you send the first email that says, hey, thank you for coming to my page. I'd like to see you further. This is what we do. We sell cars. We mostly take care of anything car related. These are the cars we have in stock. No pressure. Feel free to purchase at any time. So ideally, sometimes people can actually make the purchase from the get-go. And then because of the plan you've set for yourself, Mautic is going to tell you that, hey, someone has actually pressed the call to action button, someone has actually made a purchase. So you carry that person or that contact to another, you segment that contact ideally. So you segment the contact to, this person has made sales. So depending on the goal, that's how you plan the funnel to which your customer will go through. So if he has not, or if he or she has not actually made a purchase, if the person has not maybe clicked the call to action button, or let's say the person clicked the call to action button but did not make the sales or did not complete the sale, you can tell Mautic to say, okay, hey, if this person did not complete the sale, this is the next email. It should trigger another email in the next 2 to 3 days saying, hey, we noticed you did not buy this, that. In case you did not know, there's a 50% discount to this car. So it will cost maybe the person to buy, because then again, you want to make sure that you've gotten all these ready, all these plans, all these funnels ideally ready, to make sure that in case there's any drop at any part of the customer journey, you'd be able to say, this is why this is why this customer dropped, so you can re-strategize and create a new process that can be followed thoroughly. So yes, Mautic helps you to understand the customer journey better, so you can know why this person dropped, or why there was no sales, or why leads are dropping, or why you're not converting technically. So Mautic will help with that. Um, Points, yes. Um, just let's say, like with the previous example I used, that the person has dropped the email address, or the potential lead has dropped an email address, yes, and you sent a message saying, okay, thank you, this is what I'm all about, and the person clicks through the email. Maybe you give a point maybe for opening the email, maybe a point or two for opening the email. When the person makes a conversion, right, you can give that contact 10 points or something. So it will help you know at which point the customer is taking through for his journey. Points would help. That's also one other feature that I really loved about Multi. Social listening, social monitoring, that's not supposed to be listening, but for some reason, since I've used Hootsuite before, I just automatically target listening. Social monitoring, I found this tool recently on Mautic. I had never noticed it until recently, like I said, and I also found out that it was only Twitter that was there. But then again, with a Nigerian audience, I'm Nigerian. I don't know if there's anyone here that is not Nigerian, but with a Nigerian audience, Twitter, a lot of people in Nigeria on Twitter. So it's also good for businesses. I think it's also good for businesses to take their audience, or to take their business on Twitter. So yes, Mautic would help to. I tested it out and found out that maybe you could put like a hashtag of your product, hashtag furnitures in Lagos, or hashtag cars in Lagos. So necessarily when anybody is looking for any keyword in general, maybe somebody has pressed or has written cars in Lagos, you find that those tweets will appear for you to know what to do about them. So ideally, maybe you can go and look at the person as a potential lead, or something. So yes, social monitoring helps. I talked about integration when I started, mostly because I really loved this feature. I also know that you can use other apps for integration too. But yeah, the feature that I used, I talked about it. I also found out that you could use it on the web, right? But when I used the integration for push notification, that's one signal. I used it for just push notifications to the phones, to their phones. But yes, you can also do that on the web. So yeah, Mautic has so many features, and the most important part is that they are still adding more. And for an open source marketing platform, this is so good for marketing. And it also helps that they also have a CMS system, a content management system, I think, yes, that also works. So yes, Mautic Mautic is great, or has been great when I used it at the time, and I found out that it's now, when I used it at the time, I was complaining that it wasn't user friendly. Unlike Mailchimp is definitely user friendly. But yes, for an open source system that gives you a lot of features, Mautic has so far surpassed other marketing automation platforms, I think, in my own opinion. So yeah, if you have any question, I'll be happy to answer. I am so sorry that this is so short. But yeah, any question at all that I know of, I'll be able to give an answer.
All right, Anita, thank you so much for your time and thank you so much for your help so far and for the presentation so far. You really digest everything about Maltic and you've also been able to let us know what you think about how Maltic works. But let me also share with people here to know that Maltic 4.0 is about to get released and before the next conference, which is coming up 16th and 17th next month, I will talk more about that after this question and answer session. We'll be able to also get to see Multic 4, and I want to let you know that there have been some teams working on making sure the user experience, redesigning the front end of Multic to be helpful for everybody. So you will be able to get to know more about this later. But just let's go on straight to the question and answer. So we have Inda. Inda is asking, does push notification only for Android or does it only support or work for iOS? Oh, okay. I think Anita is okay. Anita. So Inda is asking about push notification. Okay, Inda is having issues with his call, which is maybe with his audio. Inda, sorry, Anita. Anita, can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry, I
Okay,
think I had issues with my network.
all right, no problem. Please, do you get the question? Asking
Yes,
about
I saw the
push.
question before I left.
Okay, go on, please.
Okay, at the time when I used it, which was 2017, it was just for iOS. We noticed that it landed just on iOS devices, and I checked back on the documentation. I think they are working on getting it to Android. So yes, it might start working on Android very soon, hopefully.
All right, great. Does any other person have any question that would like to share? Okay, we have another question. Okay, Inda says thank you. All right, great. Does any other person have any question? Okay, tell us if you've been using Mautic before now. Can you share with us how you've been able to use it? Kindly raise your hand if you'd like to come on stage and speak. Kindly raise your hand if you'd like to come on stage. So tell us, how have you been using Mautic? Is this the first time you are hearing about Mautic, or you've been using it before but you needed more knowledge or something? Tell us about how you've learned to know about Mautic and how you've been able to use it. So if you don't want to come on stage, please feel free to use the chat. We'd be love to hear from you. And also, if you'd like to share with us how the session has been so far, did you learn anything new? Okay, so if there are no questions, I must say confess that Anita have done so much justice in presenting this today, and I really appreciate so much effort he has been able to put together put this together. It's great to have everybody join us and being able to be part of this. So let me quickly share with us some updates that is going to be helpful for all of us. And let me talk to you about Mautic updates that you need to learn more about. So we'll be having Mautic conference is coming up next month, 16th and 17th of June. So you can go to multicon.mautic.org to learn more about that. So that is a global conference for Mautic. You can purchase tickets for as low as $5 to be part of this. And there are so many speakers lined up, so many topics lined up. And also, if you'd like to volunteer to be part of planning this event, please feel free to join on Slack Multicon. So there is a channel on Slack Multicon which you can join and learn more, and you can be able to be part of the conference. All right. Also, you can also Multi 4.0 is almost here, and we would like to have you part of the launch. So Multi 4.0 is almost here, and a lot of things are changing in Multi 4.0. So please watch out for Multi 4.0, and if you like to contribute, please feel free to be on to also contribute. All right, so we'd like you to please join the community on Slack. Kindly share our events when you see them. We'll be uploading these videos on our YouTube channel. Please subscribe and also watch our previous YouTubes. All right, so join us on our Slack channel too. So if you'd like to join us on WhatsApp, we have a WhatsApp group. If you'd like to join us on WhatsApp, please feel free to reach out to me. I will be able to share the Slack, the WhatsApp group link with you for Mautic Lagos. All right, so contact any of these organizers. We will always be helpful for you. We look forward to you speaking at our next event. Please feel free to reach out. And also, we have our next one coming up in June 26th, same time, 11 a.m. West African time. We love you join us. And I also love you to please share and invite others. Please kindly go to the lounge now. Just you see a button lounge. Please kindly go there where you can be able to interact with the speakers and everybody. Thank you so much again for joining us today. We appreciate your time and we hope that you can have a very nice and wonderful weekend. Bye, everybody.